All right, for this part 2 of the tutorial, we're going to learn about importing files, like save files that you can transfer. We're going to add the feet, we're going to add the antennae, and we're going to move the wings around slightly to make them look more butterfly-ish. So one issue we've had with students, which is a problem, Fusion is not like Google Docs. It doesn't constantly save, right? When you finish your job, you have to manually save it by pressing the save icon up here. And because it saves to a cloud, it often has to upload your thing to the cloud. So it can take like several minutes to actually save your work. And if you don't, you lose it completely. So when we have our CAD lessons, we should think 5 minutes before the end of the lesson to start saving our work, because we might have multiple jobs open that we want to save. But this is also a wonderful learning experience as well. Now everybody here has downloaded the Fusion 360 file that I gave you. This particular one, I went to File and I went to Export. And when I went to Export, over here it's saved as an Autodesk Fusion archive file, and it's saved in my location, and I named it whatever I wanted to name it, and then I put that on the classroom, and you've all downloaded that. So you have that file, which means you have a copy of this file right now. So let's pretend, let's close this, and I lost my butterfly, and we want to know how to import that file. So we're going to go to the File in the top left, and we're going to go to Open, and then when we do open from my computer, and you find whichever location you had it. In mine, it's in my Downloads folder, Butterfly Tutorial V1. So you click that, and you press Open, and then if, fingers crossed, you should have the same file that I have right there. All right, now for my students, you can choose to continue with this file, or you can use your own butterfly for this tutorial. Do we all have it loaded up? Did you get it? Good, all right. So butterfly, we'll start with doing the legs first. We're going to make it like butterfly legs look like an upside down letter U, basically, right? We're going to do simple butterfly legs. So what we're going to do is we're going to start sketching, and we'll sketch over here. We're going to start by sketching the butterfly legs. Now my butterfly is symmetrical. So I am going to start by pressing we already knew how to do the fitted spline, so we can do that again, or we could do it with a circle. I think I'll do it with the spline. The spline looks nicer, because I get to show you a feature of the spline as well. So I'm going to pick a point that I want over here, and I'm going to go out, and we'll make my legs go out to about here, and then I'll press the tick button, which should say I'm done. Now here's the spline again, which the spline is when we have multiple dots, it tries to get a line to curve around them. One of the problems that we're going to reach is, I've done half of the leg. So here's a bit of a quiz for you. At some point, I'm going to have to do what to get it on the other side as well? Yeah, we're going to have to mirror it, exactly. So when we mirror this, it's going to be this shape, exactly on the other side. One of the problems we have is over here, see how this is pointed like upwards? So when we mirror it, it's going to look like this. That's not the shape we want. It's going to look like a peak of a mountain as we mirror that shape. So when we have our spline, this green, let me press escape, please. Okay, see this green line over here? Do you know in maths the term a tangent? Yes. Yeah, so it's like when the circle, that's a straight line that's on the circle. Tangents also matter for curves as well. And if you think about it, a circle is a type of curve. It's just a very specific type of curve. This green line represents the tangent. So if we get this green line, and if we make this green line, if we drag it down, right, if we select it and we drag this green line down, and if we make this green line horizontal, now the spline ends up being horizontal at this middle point, which means when we mirror it, it's going to make sense, the curve will look nice. We can also manipulate this green thing which is like, I forgot what it's called. I think it's like the tangent line. If we bring this green line all the way out, it's going to make the legs look really wide. If we bring it all the way inside, it makes them very shallow. So we can adjust this green tangent line to be the exact shape, the kind of shape we want our butterfly legs to be. And once we're done, we can press Finish Sketch. So what we're going to do here, if we want to imagine this is our butterfly, these are going to be like the bones of, even though technically I think butterflies are exoskeletons, but just imagine if this was a human leg, this will be like the bones of where the leg is. It's like the center of the leg, and we're going to move the muscle and all the other components of the leg around that. We will go to construction and we're going to press plane along a path. Construction, press the arrow to go down. We want to click plane along a path. We click that button. This is our path that we made, this curve. We select that. And then see how we have this arrow here. So we've seen that orange rectangle, that orange square before, right? That means that we can do a sketch on there. But notice here as I drag it, see how it's following the line and it's always perpendicular to it. So we can use this to draw our body of our leg around it. Let's bring it all the way to the end and then we'll press OK. Now we can sketch on here, sketch, sketch, and now I'm drawing inside the leg. For this one, I'm just going to do a little circle. All right. I'm just going to do a little circle and I'm going to press Finish. And now if everything worked well, we should have your line with a little circle at the end. Okay? Next, so this is like the profile. Again, think of like our triangular prism or a cylinder. This is the triangle or the circle, and now we have to make it in 3D. But this isn't like a regular cylinder in that it's not a straight line. It's actually curved. So we want it to follow this curve. The new command we're going to learn is if we press down for create, we want to use the sweep button, the sweep command. The sweep command gets a profile, so our circle shape, and it's going to make it so it's following a curve. Think of it like if you get your pen or like a paintbrush on a piece of paper and you do squiggle lines, it's doing that shape but in 3D. So we press sweep. Sweep needs us to select a profile. The profile is the circle. Click. The path is the leg we just made. And select. Yep. And then it should go straight to making the legs. One thing, things you should change, make sure this option over here, for our case, we want it to be perpendicular, which means the circle is going to follow the curvature of the line. If we didn't do that, it looks like it's not changing, which would look weird for the legs. So we want it to be perpendicular. And can you also please make sure this over here is set to new body, not join, new body please. And then we will press OK. So this is one of the legs, but it's not in a great position. So do you know how many legs butterflies have? 6. So we also have to make 6 legs as well. And the one thing about anybody who does anything on CAD is we are incredibly lazy. You want to find the easiest way to do that. So what we're going to do, first we've got to put this leg in the right position. Now let's assume this is like the back legs. We're going to press the move button. We're going to click this body. and we want to move it. The move type we want, press translate, and we'll press the limb over there. So now we can drag this leg forwards, and so say that is the location we want. That is going to be where the back leg starts. And then we'll press OK. Next, if we have 6 legs, that means we have 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to mirror. So all we need to do is get 3 legs on one side, and then we can mirror it. To get the 3 legs, we're going to use the pattern. We're going to use rectangular pattern. What this does is, if we have a body, we can just make copies of it in like a particular direction. So the body we want is the leg. The axis we want, well, we want them to be copies. Imagine you're all in a line. Which direction do we want these to go in? We want them to be, I can either hover my mouse over this line over here. That line would be the direction I want. Or, it's hard to see, but the X, if I hover over there, that's the X axis. That's behind my moth, butterfly. Or, no, you can't press the X axis up there. So if I press this X axis over here, select, and now go to Object. Oh, I've got something up here. Sorry, pressed the wrong button. Create, pattern, rectangular pattern. The body we want is this. Yes. The axis we want is this. Yep. And now I have these 2 arrows. If I drag this arrow this way, 3 legs should pop up. Now, just coincidence, 3 is the default. But if I wanted to change it, I could. I can change this number over here, quantity. So if we make a spider, right, I can do 8 legs if I want. If I want to do well, centipede's going to be difficult, but we could do like more and more if we want, right? Our butterfly, we only want 3, and we can drag this so they're in the right position that we want. So that looks about right. I'm just guessing. That seems like an all right position. And then we'll press OK. Now we have to mirror this. So we're going to go to our mirror tool. What objects do we want to mirror? Well, we want to mirror this. So I've got these 3 bodies that I want to mirror. The mirror plane. Now, some of you had the issue with your symmetry, with your mirror plane before. So what we want to do is we need to make, before we do the mirroring, actually I want to fix that issue with some of you doing your mirror planes. If your square is not perfectly in the center of the CAD file, your mirrors are going to be incorrect. So how we can fix that is we know this body of the butterfly, everything's going to be symmetrical from this body. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to construction and you're going to go press mid-plane. And when you press mid-plane, you're going to press one and the other side, so both sides of the butterfly. One side and this side. Right? And what that should do, it should make a plane in the middle of your butterfly. And you can use that for doing your mirroring. Create, mirror, the mirror plane will be this one. And then now we have the 6 legs. We have look at that, the 6 legs of our butterfly. Once we don't need the mirror plane anymore, we can hide it. Mirror plane is going to be in our construction. We can hide it over here once we don't need it. We will need it again when we do the antennas, but we'll reveal it later as we need it. Cool, we have this. Now we need to do the antennae is the next thing we're going to do. For the antennae, they're going to stick outwards. So again, we're going to go to sketch. We'll pick this plane over here to do the antennae. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a fit them by a spline. I'm going to start them from inside the body. And I'll finish them out here. And we're for most of this, we're doing the same. So we're going to start this by doing the same thing we did for the legs. We're going to make a plane along a path. I'm going to press this path. And we're going to, did that not work? Plane along a path. Oh, there we go, yep. Drag this all the way to the end. Okay. Sketch. Over here, we're going to make a circle. And then we're going to create and sweep. And again, we need to make sure that we do new body. All right, so that's the start of it. What's at the end of the antennae? An eye at the end of the antennae. Yeah, there's a little I don't know if that actually exists, but at least in cartoon butterflies, they have like a little bulb at the end. So we want to try to draw that bulb. Now, Fusion does have the option, if you press create, you can make shapes in Fusion. It's not great though, because you can't be as accurate. So we may as well learn a new tool to do this bulb with. Okay, so plane at an angle. I think this is. How do we do this? We want to stick this out. Okay, so let's go to sketch. If we press, we want to press this flat surface over here, and we're going to be sketching in there. We are going to draw a circle. And we'll press finish. What we're also going to do is we're going to press construction, and we're going to make an axis perpendicular to a point. And we're going to press this point over here. So now what we're going to end up using the revolve tool, which means we're going to get a shape, and if we spin it, it's going to make that our shape that we want. So right now this circle, if we revolve this circle around this shape over here, it's not going to do anything because it's like this, right? That's not going to make any 3D shape. So we first have to get this circle and we have to rotate it in a direction so it will be able to spin. We'll press move or copy, and over here we're going to press sketch objects, and then we're going to press rotate, and we're going to press that circle, and the axis we're going to rotate it around will be, what axis is that? I would do free move. So we do selection, free move, and now if we rotate this, ,90 degrees that way, 90, and press OK. So now it's gonna, if we look at this, it's almost looking like a bit of a lollipop looking shape. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I made the wrong axis before. Let me just delete this axis. Right click, delete. The axis we actually want is construction, perpendicular to a face and a point. This is our face. This is our point. Okay, that's the axis we want. Now we're going to use the revolve tool. We have everything to do as a revolve tool. We'll go create, revolve. We'll press this profile. And the axis is this one over here. And now, is this going to work? Looks like I've made a mistake somewhere. Give me a second, I'll pause the tutorial. Okay, I figured out what we do. Instead, let's go back to when we first made the sketch. To do that, we can keep pressing Ctrl-Z to undo, or you can drag this, just keep doing Ctrl-Z until you get to the point where you're making the sketch. If we go to the sketch, we have a circle. If instead of a whole circle, we just get a semicircle, so we draw a line down the middle. If we draw a line down the middle of the circle and then we press finish sketch, we can go into the 3D. We can then press the revolve tool. we want to just press 1/2 of the circle, but make sure we actually get the whole half of the circle, including this part. And then the axis we revolve it by is the center line we just made. And now, this one is starting to make it. So not cut, we don't want cut, we want join. So if we look at this revolve tool, we're starting to make the bulb at the front of it. And you can see it does, when we do a revolve tool, we don't have to do the whole shape, we can do part of it. So it gives us the power to do more stuff later. If like you wanted to make like a helmet. Full. Press OK. So now we have the antennae. What we have to do is we have to rotate this because this is not the right position for an antennae. So we're just going to go to the move and copy. Again, we're going to select we want to rotate it, but we don't want to rotate it. We want to rotate it at the stem. So what we're going to do for this is I'm actually going to hide the body. We want to set the pivot points over here. And then we're going to look at our thing. And we're going to rotate our antenna going out like that. And then if we press OK and we show it, we have the antennas going out. And like everything we do, we're going to use our mirror tool at the end. To get this body. And then we have the two little antennas coming out. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to make the wings look like they're flapping a bit more. So let's say firstly I want to delete this bad wing over here. And then because I'm going to as I angle this, we're going to mirror it again. So I'm going to delete this bad wing. We have options to cut stuff off in Fusion. We can use the split body option. Split body. This is the body we want to split. And so again, it's asking how do I want to cut this out. We did this before with the wings, but we can also use, we're going to use this wall over here to say where we want this body to be split. And if we press OK, now this should be its own body. I believe we can then go here and we can hide this. We don't need this wing anymore. We'll use that wing at another point. We are then going to split this wing off as well, but we're not going to hide it because we're going to rotate this wing. So we'll go split body. Again, we're going to pick this body. Splitting tool will be this face. Okay. And then we're going to rotate we're going to rotate this body in like that, but notice how both the bodies didn't come together. So I needed to select I have to go move copy, I have to select both. Two bodies, and then I can start rotating it. How much do I want to rotate it so it looks nice? Let's see. That looks nicer. Okay. We'll do that. We press OK. Finish off with our mirror. We want to mirror this object. And the eye, because we actually cut off the eye when we did the split body thing. The mirror plane. And then we press OK. And then we have our butterfly. Now the one last thing is our butterfly is pretty sad. He's upside down right now. So we're just going to move copy. If we, can I click and drag the whole thing? Ooh, there you go. Click and drag the whole thing. Rotation. Axis. Origin, give me that x-axis. No. $180. And now we have our lovely butterfly, and to finish off our drawing, we can save it. Remember to save your work. Butterfly tutorial V2. Because now that we have our lovely butterfly, we can get a nice rendered image of him. If we go to design and we go to render, ooh, what background do we want? In Fusion, we can go setting, ooh, environment library. Let's see what we got. What do we have? We'll just drag a background in, and if I press the render button, once this background enters, we can go press the render button, and hopefully it'll be done by the time this lesson, but I'm going to pause the tutorial so you don't have to just wait for the loading screen. We'll see what a rendered image of our little butterfly looks like. So I've started doing the render, and I will resume the tutorial when the render's finished. All right, so I've continued the tutorial once the rendering has been complete. When you do the cloud rendering, sends it off to Autodesk, their servers. They do all the rendering. If you have a student account, it's free. There's just, I think they have limits on how many you can do a day, so you don't like overload their server. But if we press this rendering over here, it should load up the rendered image that we just got over here, sent to us. Click. So the rendering over here, let's look at some differences. Over here, you can see the butterfly looks like better. There's a lot of shininess and reflectiveness. We can actually, if we zoom in a bit, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to. Oh, this file. I think it's because we made a very big image and it's struggling to load it up. Okay, so we have this rendered image. Before I modify it, I'm just going to press the download button because I think I'll have a better chance opening it up in our downloads folder. So we'll press save and just remember the location. And then if we go there to our downloads, and we open that image with photos, in here we can zoom in and we can see we have some detail, like we can see through the glass where the eye and where the legs are because we made this out of glass. We can also change all the other materials in it and do even more detail. We could even, if we wanted to and we made our butterfly, we could do different colored circles for all different parts of the wing. But that's it for this tutorial. Thank you. Next tutorial will be actually making our CO2 drag cars.